Lancaster City Council meeting. Thank you for coming. It's a joyous day. It's an event, and we'll celebrate that in a second. Okay. Roll call.
City Council Authority Member Johnson. Mann.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Motion to excuse Johnson.
Second.
All in favor, voice.
Aye.
Moving on. Housing Authority.
Roll call, please.
Housing Authority Member Harvey.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Chair Zetto. We have a quorum.
Motion to excuse the chair.
Second.
Voice vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay. The invocation is with Dr. Tom Shepard from Lancaster Baptist Church. How are you?
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this city of Lancaster and more intimately a place we call home. We ask that you be with the elected officials and the public officials today as they deliberate and make decisions, for we all are citizens of this city, and we thank you for that. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Yes. Place your right hand over your hearts. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the Global Leadership Summit presentation by David Parker. David, how are you? Senior Pastor of Desert Vineyard Fellowship.
Good afternoon. Every summer we provide a single parents fair at the Desert Vineyard. Last summer I think we served about 800 parents and their children, and we did that with services going from legal aid to food to bicycle repair to any number of things. But the real issue in their lives, honestly, is leadership. Every month, I think statistically, 2 churches start in the Antelope Valley and 2 churches fail. The real issue is leadership. We have a community that we're trying to grow that is dealing with challenging obstacles. The issue is leadership. We understand that the ability to lead and to do that well is critical for the health of our families, for the health of our community, for the health of our nation. This is the 3rd year that the Desert Vineyard has hosted what's called the Global Leadership Summit. It's something that is attended by almost 200,000 people worldwide. It comes out of Chicago and a major church there called Willow Creek. And it's broadcast live in the United States to 300 sites, including ours here in the Antelope Valley. The reason I'm before you to talk about it today is because this issue of leadership is so important in our community. And the summit is really designed from a faith-based perspective. It's designed to equip people, inspire them, instruct them in things of leadership that will help them lead where they are, whether that's in their home or in a business or in the community or in some kind of service organization. It will help them lead right where they are. The Bible has such an interesting perspective on leadership. It says 3 really important things. Well, the main thing it says about leadership in the New Testament is that we're supposed to do it diligently, that we're actually really supposed to apply ourselves to leading. And the perspective of the Bible on leadership is that there's a responsibility about leadership, that we've given this charge, that we have something to do. There's an accountability about that responsibility. We're not the final judge over what and how we do what we do. But I think most importantly, there's to be a generosity about our leadership, that it's supposed to affect more than just ourselves and those for whom we're immediately concerned. The summit has an incredible way of bringing together over 2 days speakers from government, culture, church life, social justice, and enterprise. Brings just world-class faculty together, and it's 2 days of again, inspiration and equipping that can really help people. We're thrilled to be hosting it, but exercising our leadership, hopefully in a generous way, we're thrilled to open it up to the community. So I've liaisoned with our service organizations, our business community, other ways to say this is an opportunity that honestly you would have to go somewhere else to get. You'd have to pay a lot more to be able to do that, and it's right here in our own community. I wanted to show just a 2-minute video of the faculty for this year's summit. It's August 14th through 15th this summer, and we're hosting it at the Desert Vineyard.
Well, welcome everybody to the Global Summit 2013, and it all does start right about now. It starts with the 75,000 of us that are gathered right now all over the United States, 8,000 people right here on the Willow campus, and then the rest in hundreds of venues all over America.
I remember the first time I ever met Pastor Bill. He said 2 things to me. He said, study the art of listening, and I don't remember what else he said, but that first one was like, that was pretty cool, man.
God gave us an innate desire to love others, and if we have a job that has nothing of that in it, we can't love our work.
The bottom line is we can't give people what we don't have. We cannot give help when we can't ask for it.
Just don't be afraid. Just be you. Live a life worthy of the calling you've received.
I think one of the ways to make a group of human beings more powerful as a leader is to constantly show them perpetual optimism. No matter how bad things are, we're going to fix it. In business, in what we do in television and film, it's lots of no's. All I hear is N-O, next opportunity. I do not let it drag you down.
You want to change the world? Learn how to change behavior.
What could you do to lean into being a little bit more of a multiplier? Wonder what would happen if I asked and let other people find the answers.
We thought innovation is about value for money. I say innovation is about value for many.
The first must be last. It's not about greatness, it's about serving others. Do not bail on your mission. So many of God's great rewards for leaders are reserved for late in the race. That if every opportunity comes your way, you will never do ministry alone. You always have budding leaders around you. What do you mean you're not good enough? You are my workmanship, he says. And I created you with that gift of leadership to put you right where you are.
This is Connie Thiemann. She's our pastor on our staff over our children's work.
Yes, I'm on the promotional strategy team, and when I watch this, I am so excited. And just remembering tools that I picked up from last year. In the previous years, I've been to Chicago a few times. I've had leadership training there. And to be able to offer this right here in the Antelope Valley, I'm blown away that we get to host this for a third year in a row. Here is the lineup for the 2014 speakers. A couple of the speakers that you just saw on video will be there. Bill Hybels, Patrick Lynch, amazing lineup again. Tyler Perry will be there. And just, you'll pick something up from someone that just moves you in your call, in your work, and excite you about your leadership role. The next slide, the Desert Vineyard brings this summit right here to the Antelope Valley. The way to register is to go to the desertvineyard.org/summit. And that gives you the location too. The price is such a value. It's $249. There are some student rates that are at least half of that. Student rates even less than half of that. Some faculty rate. We've got partners in the Antelope Valley already. Edwards Air Force Base is partnering with us. St. Stephen's, Highlands. So there's some special rates there too because of the partners with us. The next slide. We are, like Pastor David said, one of the 300 premier host sites. And, I can remember asking my husband, am I a leader several years ago? And I'm always leading people and influencing people. We all are. In some way, somehow, we are leading people. We are influencing them. And I can remember one of my first all-day leadership workshop. I was so excited to be there. And it was Dan Webster, and it was in Chicago. And I remember him saying that leaders remain teachable. So, as I look around here today, I see these students and graduates here, and once you stop college, we got to figure out how to keep this going, how to keep our leadership skills growing, and those skills just benefiting those around us. So thank you so much for this presentation, and if there's any questions, do we have time for Q&A?
How do we clone that enthusiasm? So what kind of rate are you going to give the city?
The city council, we would like to invite you as our guest because we know...
Wait a minute. You need the younger people in the city.
Yeah, our student...
Already half dead.
The student rate is 99. And yeah, so we'll work on that with our executive pastor, but student and faculty rate is right between 79 and 99. And, there are ways to work with if we get groups of 10.
All right. We got somebody working on that. And, we're probably going to have to go to the Supreme Court over this, too. That's okay. Tell me about the program itself that you're having at Desert Vineyard. Are there workshops, or is it just the video?
It actually is a live video. We're sitting in the audience. There's breaks. They have entertainment. So mostly we're all watching it together right there, live simulcast. It's pretty exciting to see it right there live. I do have flyers in the back, too, that folks can pick up with the information that they just saw.
Are you planning any follow-up workshops or anything like that?
We have opportunity at the church if you bring a team to even let you debrief with your team. In July, every Wednesday night in July at 6:30, we're showing a taste of the summit from last year. So some of these speakers that you just saw, you can come to that location, 1011 Avenue I, and you can see a taste of the summit. And there's wonderful footage on the internet also if you go to Global Leadership Summit 2014.
All right, let's make it a priority. Let's figure out how to...
Great.
That's impressive. That lineup is really impressive.
Thank you, Mayor.
I did go last year and the year before. It's a wonderful event, and you can actually plan your day around it. If you can't stay all day, you can come and go. So it afforded the opportunities to do that, which is important in our field. So it worked out well. Great event.
Great. Thank you. Yeah.
Was it an attention span problem? Or?
Yeah, I was filling in for the mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We look forward to it. Okay. Now it's my presentation, right? And who's going to help me with this? Because I know... Okay, good.
Someone Spanish. Should call Lilia. Rex? Lilia Galindo will help you. She's in the audience. You'd have a hard time reading those names. They're all Hispanic, yeah.
Let's just let her read it.
Yeah.
I just do the script. Lily, you going to help you? Come on up here. Since its inception, the City of Lancaster's Tapestry Commission has focused on assisting our community in celebrating our uniqueness, embracing common viewpoints, and creating opportunities to flourish. 6 months ago, the Commission facilitated a new partnership with California State University Long Beach to offer free Spanish-speaking general education development, GED preparatory training classes in Lancaster. You can bring them down here if you want. Although Cal State Long Beach currently offers electrical and mechanical engineering classes out of the Lancaster University Center, they have allocated some classroom space, including their computer lab, for the GED program. GED classes are currently offered 3 times per week and include sessions in the early morning, afternoon, and evening. This format has allowed more individuals to participate, including working individuals, parents with children, and individuals that work at night. Tonight, we will be recognizing the first 16 graduates of the GED program. Before we bring up the graduates, we would like to thank Dr. Ken Santarelli. Is he here? Ashley Hurd and Carlos Masonis. Okay. What about Ashley? Is Ashley here? Come on down, Ashley. Okay. Settle down. I know I'm slow. We would also like to recognize Patricia Salazar from Churla, who is one of their program partners. Most importantly, I want to thank 2 special individuals, Ronaldo and Dino Lopez. Who volunteer more than 25 hours per week to work with students and facilitate these classes. We could not have done this without their dedication and commitment to education. You know, my high school is a GED. But that really is the ticket to entry to whatever we want to be. And I can't think of a more important program than this program. It certainly, I mean, I would have lived a different life had I not had that opportunity. And I hope you live a different life because you had that opportunity. Okay. Don't whisper, tell me I'm deaf.
We're going to go ahead and call up the students to come up.
Okay, and then, all right, right, good. That's you. So we're going to do it, we're going to get the picture right. Okay, let's do it that way.
Cecilia Marín. Anselma Moreno.
That's the important one. Thank you.
Rita Ferrer. Pablo Pelayo. Jesús Manuel Gallardo.
Whoa. He just come back. We got the important one. Oh. Thanks.
Héctor Mauricio Martínez. Osmundo Alejandro Soto. Marisela Martínez. Consuelo Navarro. Oliveria Méndez Hernández.
Anytime now. Okay.
Roberto Estrada Mendoza. Dora Zamacona. Alejandro García. Agar Epince. Gladys Amanda de León Soto.
Thank you. Okay, let's do a group.
To the tallest in the back. Let's get tallest in the back. Do 2 rows. Have the mayor in the middle.
Rex, the rest of the Tapestry Commission, if they...
Any more Tapestry Commission members? Let's do this first. Get this first, then we'll family. Okay, so say we got a lot of camera people. Look at Aaron. Okay, let's get the city shot first, then we'll have all the family. Okay, Aaron, just 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Okay. And come on. Okay, family and friends, go ahead. Get a shot. Go ahead. Go ahead. Right about here.
Rex. Rex.
You say a few words?
Yeah, a few words.
Good afternoon. My name is Dora Zamacona. I'm a student of GED in Spanish classes in Lancaster. I'm a mother, wife, and swing manager at a fast food restaurant. I'm an American citizen. I immigrated from Mexico and came from a less fortunate family. For life reasons, I did not graduate from high school, but I always want to obtain my GED and take classes in Spanish to have the opportunity to understand the concept. I do not write or speak the English language perfect, but I do not let that hold me back. That's why I have always wishes to take classes like the ones I'm taking now. I wanted to better myself and give my kids a good example. I wanted to give thanks to the city of Lancaster for the opportunity for supporting GED classes in the Spanish language. I also want to give a thanks to the director of University of Long Beach, Sir Kenneth, for supporting us with the classroom at the Lancaster University. I especially want to thank, on behalf of the students, Mrs. Dina and Mr. Reinaldo Lopez. With the most interest, they help us and support us not just as teacher, but as our friends. I want to thank them with all my heart, and I hope you help more people like me or like all the students. In reality, they are the ones who really deserve the applause. I want to thank my sons and my husband for the support. Thank you, everyone. I proudly say this is just the first step. I want to continue my studies and serve my community. I know that anything is possible and that is never too late. Sí se puede. Thank you. Just I want to give this plan to the teachers, because always when they see this one in the yard, they never forget the class 2014. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to Lancaster. Good. Okay. One more.
Let me tell you about Bryce. He's an academic honor student. He's the UP Press feature Veterans Festival Volunteer Recognition Award organized by 96 students. Four high school nutrition awards, ASB officer recognition awards, ABCASL Trust Officer Recognition Award, ACS Rally, Relay, Life, event participation. Oh, his associate. Graduate. Remember what SOAR is. SOAR is critical. High schools in this nation. Every major private high school out there. You know his parents pay $50,000 a year. Our kids are better. And they test better. And they perform better. And he is at the top of the pile. Bryce is pursuing his goal of becoming a pediatric cardiologist. Bryce's dedication to academics has served well from the associate's degree in math, science, and after graduates. That's right. Bryce is an expert at getting the job done. He is one of the organizations successfully managed to create right and
This is a demographic, this mix isn't supposed to work. It works. It's all hurt. It's because of incredible teachers, incredible parents. You're prouder, slower, anything else. Normally you get a $1,000 scholarship. That's sweet. No, I'm kidding. Let's get a picture of you really.
Can we move CA1? That's the appointment of Josh Mann.
Josh got an appointment? All right, let's take CA1 out of order. Where is CA1? CA1 is the nomination and appointment of Josh Mann to the Lancaster Museum and Public Art Foundation Board of Directors. Any speaker cards?
None. Wait. No.
And we'll let Councilman Mann comment if he thinks he's worthy of the... No, I'm kidding. Josh has done incredible things for this city, and it's with a pleasure to appoint him to just about anything he wants, other than the mayor's seat. What?
We have to vote.
Oh, I know we have to vote. I got to give my little speech first to make sure I got the votes, right?
You're going to get a $1,000 scholarship.
I think
Okay,
Mayor, I think we need to make sure that we get as much out of Josh as we possibly can, so I appreciate you doing so. I think we need to put him to work.
Yeah, work's a good thing, Josh. That means you got to get up in the morning. Okay, I've nominated him. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You're in. Thank you, Josh.
Sworn in.
Oh, you got to get sworn in. You know, it's like having a mother up here.
No, he's worse than a mother.
So you want to swear him in?
Yeah.
Makes a great picture. I mean, you are up for re-election. Go swear him in. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to the Housing Authority. And
Okay, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Carries 3-0-1.
Thank you.
You're going to correct me, huh? List of qualified contractors. Elizabeth?
Is this the consent calendar?
Yeah.
So can we vote as a consent calendar?
We can.
Take an O.
I move that we adopt the consent calendar as currently comprised.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Turn the meeting back over to Mayor Paris.
Speaker first.
Not for councilman.
Okay. Any speaker cards on the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on. The consent calendar, we're going to remove item 2022.
Are we going to remove it or pull it?
Pull it.
Okay.
Pull it
For further discussion. Yeah.
Okay.
Any,
Which was that again?
22. Anything else?
CC3, CC4, and I believe it's CC8 with Michael Reeves.
Michael, come on down.
Mayor, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I want to speak tonight on CC2 and CC4-9. On CC2, this is to approve the check and wire registers for the city. And I'm interested in knowing whether bids were solicited for the city services paid for, and are those accepted bids on file. On CC 4-9, I'm not clear about the items, but my question is, do I understand we shall be purchasing new foreclosed homes? How many of them are now in the city's possession now? What are the costs collectively to maintain security and utilities to these homes? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
Motion to approve the consent calendar is currently comprised, pulling CC22.
Is that including 3, 4, and 8? Because that was pulled from the consent calendar. Okay.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Let's
Do it by voice. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on to CC 22. City Attorney, you want to present?
Before you tonight for second reading is ordinance number 998, cleaning up some provisions of the Lancaster Municipal Code pertaining to selection of the vice mayor, handling certain vacancies in the event of a vacancy on the council or in the mayor's seat, providing authorization to execute contracts, to handle certain administrative matters with regard to the Planning Commission, and to handle certain matters with regard to the uniform appeal procedure for the city. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
No questions.
Any speaker cards? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve CC22.
I'll second that.
I have a comment?
Sure.
Okay. The thing that I have about this particular ordinance is not the intent of what the ordinance is doing, but in section 2.0404 sub C, I believe that the ordinance has us applying 5 council members on the dais at the end of the day. The council seat of the mayor is not appointed, and that's the vacancy. And even though the argument has been made in the city charter that the council has the ability to fill a vacancy, the vacancy is the mayor's seat and not a council seat. And talking with the city attorney several times, the answer is that at the end of the day, we're going to have an empty, vacant
mayor's seat and 5 council members. And so for that, I disagree with that. I think it needs to be cleaned up. But if the argument is that the city charter allows us to make 5 council seats, then I think maybe the idea of having 7 council members in the future might be available. So at this point, I just don't like the way it's written.
This ordinance, particularly subsection C of section 2.04.040, is an ordinance to handle the interim appointment between a vacancy and the next election. Pursuant to the charter, the city may, by ordinance, set the method, time, and requirements to fill vacancies. This is the method, time, and requirements proposed for your consideration. It does not permanently change the composition of the council.
Well, seeing as how I will presumably have resigned or be dead, I don't really care.
Let's vote.
Well, no, I do want it clear. I don't want anybody to imply that we're not totally transparent on this. My understanding of this is when I appoint a vice mayor, what I'm also appointing is my successor if I fail to complete the term for any reason. Is that right?
Yes, if the mayor's seat becomes vacant, yes.
Okay. And so when the council votes on approving my nomination for the vice mayor, they should do so with full and complete knowledge that that person will be mayor if I should, for whatever reason, or my successor, for whatever reason, is no longer mayor. So it does add a certain level of gravity to that particular vote.
Absolutely.
And, I obviously like it, but perhaps the council has a different view.
No, and Mr. Mayor, I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
But this ordinance, if you ask the city attorney, the vice mayor is not assuming the office of mayor. He's going to be a temporary interim mayor, or he's going to be an acting mayor. He's not going to assume the office. And then, with him still keeping his council term, we're going to appoint a 5th person on the council. And so that's what I disagree with. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Burns, is the office of mayor being filled by the vice mayor?
The vice mayor becomes the acting mayor.
That's not my question. Is he acting mayor? He could be the acting mayor if Rex was in a coma for a few days. But is he assuming the office?
Where does he come up with this?
I hope you're healthy for a long time. But is he assuming the office of mayor? Is he taking over that office of mayor? It's a yes or no question.
No.
And he's not. And I'm okay with that if we do it, but I disagree with having 5 council members when the city charter doesn't say so. I haven't been told that we can do that. If we can, then maybe we can expand the council to 7 mayors by ordinance, which is something that we've talked about before. But at this point, I haven't got my answers answered properly, and so that's
wait a minute. You guys have a hard enough time with 1 mayor, let alone 7.
So my interpretation is the makeup of the council members is 5, so it doesn't preclude in the charter. Let's flip it to the other side. It doesn't preclude to fill that vacancy, does it? It says that there should be a total of 5. I think we're just in semantics of that it's not elected. It's not the elected mayor, so I can see what's
the city
wrong.
charter actually says the composition of the council is 1 elected mayor and 4 elected council members. And so in this case, you're going to have 5 council members. You can call it an interim, you can call it whatever you want, but you end up with 5. And the charter does not allow that. So whether it needs to be taken to a vote of the people to change the charter, or whether we can change the composition of the council by ordinance, and that gives us the opportunity that maybe we talk about, and if that's the legal argument, I'm good with that if that's what the answer is. But I haven't been given that answer that we can change the composition of the council to 5, 6, or 7. And so if it is, then that's something that's for discussion in the future of maybe we make it to 7 and add some additional people and expand the I
actually know a little bit about California voting rights. Why aren't we making it so that that person becomes the mayor?
This is the proposal that's before you. We can certainly amend it if that is your choice.
Okay. Now,
the individual is assuming the duties.
No, I got that, the mayor. I got that, but what my intent was that they actually become the mayor and fulfill the remaining term of the mayor.
Right.
Okay, that's not what is before you tonight.
Right. And that would be clean.
Well, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I want to go forward with what's before us tonight.
Okay.
Because I don't like the uncertainty of it. But then let's work on that.
Okay, very good.
But
Happy to do that.
What I want is a smooth succession.
Okay,
All right? That's the goal.
very good.
And that it be unequivocal.
No problem.
Okay, I don't want anybody being fettered in any way once they assume the role.
Right, absolutely.
All right?
Okay.
I agree.
Very good.
As to increasing the council to 7, I like that idea. There's certain detriments to the idea. But that would require an amendment of the charter. And
Correct, because that's permanent.
And you all know how I get when I'm in the charter, so. But perhaps we could look at that. But I think that is, I guess that would be a discussion we should have here, but at a different time. Is that right?
I would recommend it, since it's not agendized tonight for action. You could just, it's not agendized tonight.
Could we also deal with what happens if a council member is no longer on the council?
Yes, that's the preceding section of this.
Explain that with some detail, because I want everybody to understand what we're doing.
In the event of a declared vacancy on the city council of a council member seat, the mayor, with the consent of the city council, fills the vacancy by appointment within 90 days of the vacancy being declared.
Right.
That person fills the vacant council seat and holds office until the end of the former council member's term, at which time it will be filled by election.
So we're clear on that. If a council member resigns, right, fill that seat, and that person sits until that term expires, not to the next election.
Correct.
Okay. All right, everybody understand what we're doing?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm fine.
There's been a motion, there's been a second?
Yes. Yes.
Let's vote. I thought you were good with that.
I'm good with subsection B, not C.
Oh, it's 3-1 with Councilman Smith voting no. Okay, Mark Bozigian, you're going to give us continued business item 1?
Yes, we gave you the presentation last time in the public hearing. We can summarize it or answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
No questions.
We have one speaker card. Mr. Reeves? Wait a minute, before you start, would you guys like me to break now, or do you guys want to finish the meeting?
You probably have to go.
I'm realizing I'm holding you. What would you like to do? You're our guest tonight. You tell me. Want to take a 5-minute break? Okay. Let's break for 5 minutes, okay? Then I'll call you back, Mike.
All right.
Everybody ready? We're back. Mr. Reeves.
Mayor Paris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking tonight about our proposed budget for 2014-2015. I protest the way this has been presented. I think this is a totally inadequate way of presenting a budget. It should be presented entirely before the public with the facts and figures, and not say that we have reviewed it. Nevertheless, I have some questions. If I'm correct, the budget for the Sheriff's Department is $2 million more from the $23 million last year. It is now going to be $25 million this year. What are these increased costs? Second, did the City of Lancaster solicit bids for outside agencies to provide law enforcement services for this city? Yes or no? If yes, how were these bids submitted to interested parties? If yes, were there any outside bidders? If no bids were solicited for outside law enforcement, then why not? If not, shouldn't all services be contracted out, be subject to bidding? Also, why has the budget for the city attorney been reduced from $1.4 million to $400,000? Those are my comments. Thank you.
Do we really want law enforcement to the lowest bidder? That's a good observation. Thank you, Michael. Anyone?
Can we do these two together?
You can do all, I think it's all 5, right?
Jason, did you have a card?
Yes.
Did you have a card for the budget? Yeah.
Mr. Zink, I think, has a card.
Jason Zink. Sorry, Mr. Zink, I didn't get lost in the shuffle.
Just one thing. You guys run the LA County Waterworks, so you guys have a say on that? You're not on that board? Okay. Because on the rebate program, there was a synthetic grass, a fake grass, is not included in the landscape rebate program, which is weird to me. Also, summer jobs. I'd like to see money in this budget that goes to youth for summer jobs. It's opened my eyes to see how many young people have nothing to do. And, you know, when I grew up on the farm, so I was out there at 4 o'clock in the morning feeding and watering, moving irrigation pipe, and worked in the packing sheds till midnight to haul it down to L.A., you know. So, and I think we need to give the young people opportunities to work, and I think the city needs to be a leader in that. You know, the lawn needs mowing more than in the wintertime, so there's lawn jobs right there. I'd like to maybe see the juvenile hall have a nursery next to it that could grow the plants and stuff that could be transplanted throughout the city, and to fix the eyesores that I took pictures of and brought to you at the last council meeting. There's many eyesores in Lancaster that need improvements, and a lot of dead trees, and young people, I think, would appreciate it, and I think it would build our community and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll move that we adopt resolution number 14-36, adopt resolution 14-37, award the request for proposal 581-14, and approve the agreement of the election of the City of Lancaster to prefer post-employment benefits, and E, approve the declaration of authority of disbursements.
I'll second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Passes. Thank you.
No speaker cards for PH1?
Waive the public report?
Yes.
Well, that's okay with you, Robert?
Do we still have to open and close the public hearing?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Do we have to what? Close the public hearing? Open it?
And close it.
It's opened, it's closed. Is there a motion?
Waive the staff report.
Is there a motion?
I'll move that we adopt resolution number 14-38.
Second. Let's vote. It's unanimous. PH2.
Same thing, open and close it.
Open the hearing, close the hearing, waive the staff report.
I'll move that we adopt resolution 14-39.
Second.
Let's vote. It's unanimous.
Same thing with page 3.
Open the hearing, waive the staff report, close the hearing. Is there a motion on PH3?
I'll move that we adopt resolution 14-40.
Second.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. New business, capital asset policy. Is there any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
This is not a public hearing. We'll waive the staff report. Is there a motion?
I'll move we accept and approve the city capital asset policy.
Is there a second?
Do we need a vote on that? To accept it?
They're asking for the recommendation to accept and approve.
I know, I don't think we need to vote.
Yes, we should vote on it.
We should vote on it? Okay, sorry.
I'll second that then.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Moving to new business item number 2. Any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
Now, Jason, I assume that you worked hours and hours preparing this presentation you're going to give to us.
Someone did. It was Heather.
Well, Heather, would you like to? No, probably not, huh? We will waive the staff report, close the public, oh, it's not a public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll move we adopt Resolution 14-41, 14-42, 14-43.
Second.
Let's vote. It's unanimous.
We did CA1.
Did 1. On to CA2. Is there a speaker card?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves. Do we need a report on the resolution to, I'm listed. Oh, I'm taking this off.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at 5 o'clock. The council reports. Vice Mayor Christ.
We have can I ask you to call him up first, and then I can answer his questions?
Sure. Mr. Reeves, you have something on ABTA?
Keeping busy.
Okay, this is AVTA CR1. There's a bus shelter at the corner of West Avenue J and 15th Street West, southwest corner, and it's been closed down. There's a sign that says it's out of service. They moved the bus stop up from the side of the hospital up to Rite Aid. Since that bus shelter is not being used, I'm wondering, Vice Mayor Christ, if the AVTA can dismantle that bus shelter and reconstruct it over near the corner of West Avenue J9, West Avenue J and 10th Street West, right up the street from Mayor Paris's law building. It'll be on the right-hand side of the street as you go up to New Grove, because that one bus stop up from Mayor Paris's law building, there's people waiting out there all the time, and it's just a sign on the telephone post, and there's people hiding behind the thing. It's a very unsightly and unseemly thing to see people trying to shelter themselves when we have a bus shelter that isn't being used over at 15th and J by the hospital that could be dismantled and put over there on 10th Street West. Another thing, Vice Mayor, you might want to suggest to the AVTA that they do a feasibility study to see if there can be some kind of connector line between the new county health facility on 3rd Street East that will connect with AV Hospital. And as you well know, I'm trying to get the VA to locate on the campus of AV Hospital. I'll say something about that later on the non-agenda, but the point is, it would be great if we had connectors connecting the major health facilities in the city, because the county facility is going to be augmented by a hospital and vice versa. And if the veterans had a facility on the campus, that would just add to a really great thing. So they ought to consider either a shuttle bus or running the line that will connect all three of those places for the patients. Don't have to transfer and struggle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Today at the AVTA, we did discuss actually the City of Hope, the Kaiser facility, and the MAC facility, that we would have lines that would service all those. So as soon as Kaiser becomes up and running, we're going to have bus service there. The county facility on 3rd Street and Avenue I, we're going to do that. We're rearranging the lines for Route 11 and Route 12, so there's less connectors that have to take place, especially those in the area of 40th Street and Avenue I. And we are also doing a recovery system for a fare recovery system. So we're taking a look at the discrepancies between Metrolink and the AVTA buses for commuter. So that's what we're doing.
Thank you. Okay.
Mayor Paris, I've got a report out on County Sanitation District 14.
Good. Let's hear it.
Just some minor items that came before us. We did finally award the bid for the landscaping at the plant just north of us to the tune of roughly, I think it came in at $98,000. And then it was brought to my attention, unbeknownst to me, that we've had a field office here for the last 3 years, which I didn't know, paying rent at $40,000 a year. That's ridiculous. So, without any argument from Mayor Ledford, I suggested that we close that, given that the lease is up for renewal. And I told him that they could take the 2 people and move them to one of the plants or the other plant and operate it out of the plant. There's no reason why. They told me that they spoke to 3 people this last year. So I said, look, maybe we need to put a public notice in the paper, put some signage up at the 2 location sanitation plants, but just lease alone, that to me is like crazy. So anyway, it did not require any kind of order or vote, so they took on concurrence, the 2 of us. Let's just kind of give you the nonsense that's been going on.
So who owns the building?
I don't know, but they were making pretty good money, and it was for 2 people. So how big of a place would you need?
How big is the place?
I don't even think Mark was aware of it. Were you, Mark? No. Anyway, so I just want to let you know that that'll be closed, and then that way the public will then be directed to go to the plant just north of here. So, and then the last thing that I got quite surprised, I'm sure we'll get more information later on, is that legislation has been passed, and the city will have to show good faith efforts, and I'm sure they'll probably have to work in cooperation with Waste Management, is that starting in 2016, and this will probably hit restaurant owners first, is that we'll have to have a recycling program for food waste. So just sharing with you. So that was another surprise. So I guess that'll get managed when we get there. Other than that, it was a normal meeting.
I want that investigated. I want to know everything there is to know about how that came into being, how many square feet, who owns the property, who signed the lease, who authorized the lease. The back of my hair is standing up. I've learned to listen to it.
I mean,
Okay.
they said there were, and I had to ask twice, how many people were at the office, and they said 2. How big of an office would you need?
That's $3,300.
Well, it depends on if it's my office or not.
Okay.
That's $3,300 a month. At
Yeah.
$1 square, that's a lot.
So let's say it's 1,000 square feet. That would have been $3 roughly a foot. I mean, and they said that they opened it about 3 years ago.
Where's it at?
They didn't tell me. I just told them it needs to be closed. So
I think between all of us, we think we know every inch of this city. I would defy anyone to know where that office is.
Yeah.
You know, we have a tendency in government to just let it go by, fix it, and move on. I don't want to do that. If something stinks, let's investigate it.
I mean, that's crazy.
And this stinks. Thank you. Okay.
I give a report on the AVA QMD. We did a lawnmower exchange for electric lawnmowers. So we take the old lawnmowers and we exchange them for electric lawnmowers, and taking that lawnmower off the market and putting electric takes it's equivalent of 40 cars.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
So I thought that was...
I use a push mower.
Yeah.
Can I? When was the last time? 1970.
I didn't say I use it very often.
Greenhouse.
Okay.
So
is that program in place now?
Yeah, we have been doing it for 4 years. We've done
How
it
come
for
nobody
4
knows
years.
about it?
I just told you.
I did, I know.
We had it in the paper, right?
Yeah, we did it here. We do it, but we've increased it. It's the first time I heard that it was equivalent of one lawnmower is equivalent to 40
Yeah, that was a
cars.
surprise. And they did a good job, because they even had a picture of him mowing the asphalt.
Yeah, but tell me how this works. I mean, if I have a gas mower, I can take it to ABQMD, and they'll give me an electric one.
They have so many that we give out for the grant that comes from the state.
It's not a grant. It comes from the 2766 money that we have, but we buy X number. We assign so much money to that fund. We buy so many lawnmowers, and it's a first come first serve. And we alternate between the two cities. We had it here last year, and we had it at Palmdale this year, and we'll have it back here next year. So, and we do it once a year. So it's a great program. We asked for the people to give us reviews, and we've gone back 4 years, and they're still happy with the lawnmowers, and it's a good thing.
They're good lawnmowers. They're chargeable. My neighbor got one also, and they mow the lawn. They charge it in the garage. And
Positive
run out of battery.
thing. Positive thing. They don't make noise.
Nope.
Nope.
They work great.
Good. Thank you. Anything else?
I just make people aware that I think it's the AB 32 is coming into effect. It's what they're going to fund. It's the cap and trade law that they're going to fund the high-speed rail with. They're also funding the transportation. So it's a two-edged sword for us. So it's a high-speed rail that they're funding, I think 25% of that, and it'll be in the budget. But a portion of that will also be for transportation and it's to clean up the greenhouse gases that they're using that. So it's a cap and trade. The individual gas prices will probably go up anywhere from 15 to 40 cents a gallon because of it. So just be aware.
Benefit to the city?
It depends if you like the high-speed rail. It depends if you like the electric buses. So I think it has to do with...
Yeah, I kind of like the electric buses.
Yeah, there you go.
So that'll fund electric buses?
It'll fund a portion. I think it's $250 million goes to that program that the state of California is doing. But that comes from the AB 32. But I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention because it's not a law that we're raising the gas prices or anything that we're doing. It was passed years ago. I didn't think it was very effective or efficient the way that they did it. But it's law. We have to abide by it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other reports? Good. Moving on. City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council, agency, and authority on non-agendized matters. Please complete a speaker card, which can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter will be referred to the City Manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Brown? Good evening.
I had LA County Water District come out to my house. Sadly, all they did was flush the system. Now, they've done that in the past, and it doesn't do anything to change the content of the water. Basically, I wanted to tell you today, though, during September of last year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, out of a 30-inch diameter pipe, AVEC did, with malice and forethought, release tens of millions of gallons west of Lancaster to create a lake of contaminated water. I have a signed affidavit by an AVEC employee who witnessed this for the duration of the 4 months, and if willing, if called to testify, would come forth and testify to the same, that he saw them, release this water. I mean, it created a lake out there, It created a lake out there of this contaminated water. Now, when I spoke to LA County Water District 40 about this, they had no idea of it, but they knew that there was an inspection in September. So they told me that the water did not pass inspection. So instead of sending it back through the system, apparently AVEC released all this water out into the desert, and it just sat there. Who knows contaminating what? But apparently they couldn't collect the water or send it back through the system, but they want all of us to conserve water. But they're releasing gallons of water that they probably get for, I don't even know, nothing.
Heather, they're banking it.
No, it's not the bank. It's not the bank.
Sure.
I'm absolutely 100% positive it's not the bank. It's not the bank. I know that. And I asked the LA County Water, because I know where the location of the lake was, and I know where their bank is. And they're close, but not that close. So apparently, they didn't even let LA County Water District know about it. I spoke to Ken Craig, and TJ Kim came to my house, and I informed them as to what was happening, and so I have yet to see any.
Why would AVEC let...
from what I understand from Mr. Kim...
No. Why would they have to let anybody know? They're independent of the water.
Who? I'm sorry?
AVEC. Why do they have to let the water district...
Oh, they didn't let anybody know. The AVEC employee told me that they didn't.
Why would they is what I'm asking.
Well, why would they waste the water?
Well,
if we're in a drought situation and they're having to bank water and take water from that, that bank, I would think they would want to save every precious drop, send it back through the system.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you have an inquiry, they should answer your inquiry.
Right. And
but they don't have any reporting requirements to anyone.
Right.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying there, but I don't know if you could. I don't know what to do now at this juncture. I've tested my water. I know what's in it. I'm kind of a science geek, so I kind of investigate probably far beyond, what I need to. But, what's currently in the water is very dangerous. It is so dangerous that I won't let any of my animals be exposed to it, even on their feet, walking across the lawn. So, I don't want my animals to die from arsenic. If you could help, we would appreciate it. The other two families, by the way, are moving that live across the street. If that helps.
Thank you, Heather. Alex Trosh? What? You left? Oh, Pat was looking forward to it. Darlene Peterson? Darlene, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
I've missed you. I want you to know that.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's true.
And you know what? You've been happy long enough, so here I am.
I just love it when you're here.
I ran into somebody in a cafe tonight, and they know I'd come to the council meetings, and they always want me to do their dirty work, which I don't mind. It's kind of fun. They wanted me to come in here and register, even though it's late in the game, to register a complaint about the Fire Station 33, the way it's cut off. And it takes them longer to get someplace because they have to go clear over to Sierra Highway, they have to go over to Fern, they can't go straight through, and even when they go north or south to Lancaster Boulevard, that's not as speedy as it could be. And they just wanted me to register a complaint and tell whoever planned it that they did a poor job, and I have to agree with them. And I was going to... and they want me to tell my friends, and I will because I see both of them tomorrow. I was going to tell a story on Miss Brubaker, one of your hardest city workers. And it's very interesting, but my life would be in danger because dynamite comes in small packages and so does poison.
Liz has a thick skin. I want to hear this.
I promised her I wouldn't tell it, but I didn't promise her I wouldn't aggravate her with it. I won't tell it, Liz.
Listen, this is a city that is transparent.
Pardon?
It's a transparent city. We can't have transparency if you're going to keep secrets.
No, I can't tell on her. I would, but I didn't tell her I wouldn't put the picture in the paper tomorrow. Thank you. She's going to pay me.
We can pay you. That's Jason Zink, come on up.
I got this for the guy. Should I give this to her when I get my card next time? Oh, so that's the most important thing.
Thank you. I thought this might be a fundraiser or something fun for the fair and the rodeo. These hats right here, they're good-looking hats. They're 99 cents at the 99-cent store. I thought maybe you guys could sell them. Maybe Grace Resource gets the revenue, and I think it'd be fun. And I think it would add to it, and I think it would raise money for a good cause. Also, drone dropping helicopters for fire. Why haven't anybody ever talked about this? You know, why don't we get a grant from the president or from the state? We spend billions of dollars on fighting fires. For the aerospace capital, we should be able to be on the forefront of this. What is it? Oh, I told you about the hydroelectric conference coming up in July in Nashville. I think we should go to this and see if we can do it like in Australia. They connect to their sewers. So it generates electricity as the sewer is going downhill. And I was thinking about the connection between Palmdale and Lancaster. Huh?
No. Really?
Palmdale and Lancaster, it's $20 million that the developer is supposed to pay for. But hopefully we can get it written in the state bond measure and get that money to do it, because we can't wait on a developer to do this. And then it's a 100-foot elevation drop from Palmdale to Lancaster. We could put another hydroelectric power plant there and generate electricity, because it costs a lot of money. Water isn't free, this free treated water. It costs a lot of money to pump it uphill to go to the parks and everything like that. So it'd be a neutral thing, and you could write that legislation into the state bond measure and make Lancaster the first, and Palmdale the first communities in the United States to do it. Also,
look into that, would you? Thanks.
Okay. And also, the Santa Monica Conservancy is getting something like $60 million from this water bond measure. Okay? Why can't Antelope Valley Conservancy get $20 million so we can expand the Poppy Reservation and the protected buttes out in Lake LA? You know, all they do in Santa Monica is just buy land. That's all that Conservancy does. Why can't Antelope Valley benefit from this? Knight and Fuller, they're Republicans. They're playing party games like they did with the half-cent sales tax for education. They need to say, okay, we'll vote for this, but you give us $20 million for the connection, you give us $20 million for the Antelope Valley Conservancy, and you give us money for other things that can benefit Palmdale, Lancaster, and Antelope Valley. Put a lake out there at Fairmont Buttes, put one out there in Little Rock where the gravel pits are. Let's create some recreational opportunities. But tell Knight we can't play party politics. Sell the votes and get some bacon for Antelope Valley. Thank you.
Mr. Knight doesn't take my telephone call. Go figure. Kurt Bauer.
Mr. Mayor, it's actually Boyer.
Boyer? I'm sorry.
Thank you for your time. I had the opportunity to speak with you folks at the last session, and I chose to try to continue this discourse. I sit on the board of directors of one of the local medical clinics, Bart's Altadonna. Some of you may be familiar with them. They don't carry the weight of a high desert, but what they are able to do is see patients walk in within 2 to 3 hours. Unlike high desert, you don't have to wait 2 to 3 months to see a doctor. The longest you're going to wait is 2 weeks. We had the opportunity last Thursday of having I would call it a street fair, but it was in the parking lot. But we had Grace, we had just about every organization that is out there trying to help the indigent, the addicted, the homeless. And it is our intention to put together a concise format to work on the street in outreach. Now, I understand that you're going through the changes of the Red Book to what's called One Link, which is wonderful. The organizations I'm working with are absolutely thrilled by the fact that it's going to go electronic. But that doesn't help the person that I know by first name basis that sleeps in front of the library. They will never know where to go unless we can get on the streets and have these conversations with them. I work with the county mental health organization. They are reformatting county mental health. And it is their estimate that they're going to go from between 30 to 40% overhead to down to 10 to 15%. That's billions of dollars countywide. What it means for the Antelope Valley, we can only estimate. But these funds can be put to good use, which is what they intend to do. I'm trying to find a way to interact with the city to bring you folks into this game, into the idea of dealing with the street, not necessarily just through the organizations, but with the individuals that truly need it, and need it now. I'm open to your comments and your contact. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, I need to retract the thing about Steve Knight. He really would take my call. Might not want to, but he would take the call. Okay. David Paul.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, good evening. A joy again to be here tonight. This is what America is about, watching these Spanish GED graduates come up here pursuing the American dream. It makes me happy. But as they were up here, I thought about, would the Taliban or the Islamic extremists fighting in Iraq allow their women to graduate? No, they wouldn't. That's what distinguishes us from them. And tonight, Mayor, I bring you a special greeting from Special Warfare Chief Petty Officer Ralph Torres, Jr. of the SEAL SWCC Team 12. He sends greetings to the best from the best. Somehow you have impressed him, and I think he likes your warrior spirit. And, you know, he's a hometown boy who's done good, and he's out serving his country right now, protecting us, and we sorely need it. You know, what's going on in Iraq right now threatens to erase all the gains we've made, and we're not going to let that happen. But even more insidious is the fact that this new brand of terrorist is taking Americans and Brits and people from France, training them to come back here and blow us up. And we have to take the head off of this monster. And I hope and I pray we do. You know, I love America. We talked about the positive emotional activators, and when I come here and I participate, that fills me up, that renews me. It reminds me that we are striving for a more perfect union, to be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That is the beacon of hope that is America and what we fight for. And we are in the midst of a new struggle that I hope we prevail in, with the political will to get this threat neutralized. So, but I'll tell you what, if I was a terrorist, I'd worry, because we have capabilities that are so unimaginable. And, you know, I went just today on the SEAL, they have a website, and they're talking about these Islamists, and they're recruiting young Americans because they have a flashy website. The SEAL website's pretty cool too. And that's what we need to inspire Americans to that joy and that love and that renewal that comes from realizing we are striving to be that more perfect union, and we are all together. It's not about race, creed, or gender. It's about being an American first. And I love this country, and I love you all. I love my city. I love participating. And good luck to America. God bless us all.
Thank you, David. David, I want you to repeat that chapter on the positive emotional attractor, because I don't think taking off their heads gets people there. Thank you. George, is it Bertie? Beatty? Oh, I'm sorry. That's an A, not an R.
Yeah, my name's George Beatty, Sr. I'm a retired flight inspector from Lockheed Martin. I commend you on your service and dedication to the city. But several things disturb me. As this gentleman here spoke on the deputy sheriffs, okay? I'm very concerned about the deputy sheriffs who respond to squatters in a home when there's extensive raw sewage. They're coming out of the homes on the verge of throwing up. I'm concerned about their health and well-being. And I'm trying to figure out why the city council can't amend how the banks are able, 4 to 6 months with the sheriff department, go and evict the person who did not make the payment on that property. But yet, at that particular time is when I like the city council to demand the bank to bolt the windows shut. Not continue on for a whole year before they do the last eviction of the people, squatters, using 6 squad cars, twice. That's multiple usage of the sheriff department also. And nobody's paying for this other than us. Why is there not a bill going to the bank that owns that property to reimburse the city for the use of the sheriff department? Okay, I mean, I just don't see this. You know, I'm 2 years new to this community. I was in Palmdale for a while. But for me to see these vacant homes being used by the squatters, and then our deputies, putting our deputies in jeopardy, even using the helicopter several times. One particular home, they took squatters out of that home excess of 6-8 times. So you tell me the cost to the city of using the deputies on this. And I'm not talking one deputy. Christ, I would never go into the house like that by myself. I'd want backup. But as he mentioned also, the bus, put a new bus stop out on 20th East and J, okay? Well, who's going to cover the lawsuit when somebody hits the ditch because the inspector didn't inspect it for them to finish the job? There's a hole and a cone sitting there, and all you need is somebody making a fast turn there. You're going to have an accident, and the city's going to have a lawsuit on it. I mean, you've got an inspector from the city buying this job off. Why isn't he doing his job?
We're going to find out. They're taking notes, okay? On the squatters thing, I'd like a report on just how big of a problem it is.
Oh, the house, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the house I'm speaking of has excessive raw sewage, contaminated. Board of Health is supposed to take care of that, county. But doesn't the city oversee the county?
No, we're going to be right on that. All right, we'll have we'll look right into that. Okay. And we do charge them for it, by the way.
Oh, you do?
We charge them to make them clean up if they don't. On law enforcement, that's a different issue. But you never want to get into a situation where you're charging people for law enforcement, because then they don't call law enforcement. You follow me? The raw sewage, we're going to be all over that. No, we're going to be all over that. All right? And if you have addresses, if you could give it to staff, it'd be helpful. Okay. Thank you. Malia Rose, I'm sorry, I can't read this. Lou? Is it Lou? Okay, come on up. Thank you. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's about a neighborhood dispute. I'm assisting my mom, who is a senior
Can you
citizen.
pull the microphone down a little bit? Thank you.
I'm assisting my mom, who is a senior citizen. Her neighbor at 44043 Gadsden Avenue had stolen her phone bill and has made harassing phone calls and has bought software to listen into her phone conversations. This same neighbor has called his family and friends to stalk her and I while driving her to the doctors, grocery store, shopping, etc. My question is, what can I do or who can I see to ask to help her? We want to stop this legally and stop the senior abuse.
Have you called the Sheriff's Department?
Yes.
You want? Yeah, I think we have the sheriff captain here, so I think what would probably be best if we find out the particular details of it, and we can deal with it. I don't know what's happened in the past.
Well, it's just harassing her, and she's a senior citizen, and it's upsetting her health.
We'll do whatever we can to look into that and see if we can help, okay?
Thank you.
But ultimately, it is a law enforcement problem, so I have to rely on law enforcement to deal with it. There are stringent laws regarding elder abuse that, maybe a deputy could advise them of that, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Reeves? And by the way, when people come up and abuse me, I'm a senior citizen here, okay? Yeah. I qualify for elder abuse here.
Mayor, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, I have three things to say tonight. Last week I asked to get a call from the city manager's office, and I did not get a call because of whatever. I visited city manager's office in person and wanted to talk to somebody. Nobody was available. And it's regretful that I couldn't get any help from the city manager's office on two things that I was working for the city as a private citizen and as a citizen. One thing that I was concerned about was the sidewalk on J8 between 12th Street West and 15th Street West and Sunnydale Elementary School. I mentioned this before, that the students coming down J8 to the school have to walk in the bicycle lane to go to reach the school on 12th Street West. So I talked to the people at AV Hospital about it. Maybe in conjunction with the hospital and the city, they could asphalt a sidewalk for the children will not have to walk in the bicycle lane in the street. So tomorrow I'm going to mention it to Jack Burke again at AV Hospital when I go to their meeting. I would hope that the council would direct the city manager to work with the AV Hospital and getting a sidewalk put in on J8 going to Sunnydale School, for some child doesn't get eventually run over by walking in the street. This morning I called Washington, D.C. and spoke with a staffer on the Veterans Affairs Committee. This is my second call to them in Washington. They've been somewhat receptive. As you know, I've been promoting the VA here in Lancaster, and I do not represent the city of Lancaster or AV Hospital, any veterans group. I represent myself as a citizen of Lancaster. I understand that the two bills that have passed by the Senate and the House are now in conference committee, and they involve a big expenditure of money to try to schedule, to rectify the scheduling problem. Right now, I would like to see the clinic on Lancaster Boulevard moved to AV Hospital, and I think it can be done. I'm trying to determine when the lease is up, so that I can find out when the bid is up, and maybe the hospital can bid for the clinic. The clinic would be better at the hospital because it's off the freeway, it's more parking, and also if the legislation is passed by the House and the Senate and sent to the President, it's going to allow veterans to use private facilities if they can't get VA appointments in a timely manner. So what better place to have a clinic then on the grounds of the hospital, and it would generate some revenue for the hospital, and most importantly, it would help the veterans in their expediting their care. So I'm going to pursue this.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michael, I'm using you as the carom shot here. There's a new policy in the city. I do not want directors, I do not want the city manager, the assistant city manager, and city attorneys getting tied up on the phone on stuff that should be delegated to other people. And I've asked them to pay very close attention to that delegation process. And you're not an offender on this, but people are not allowed to call the city attorney and talk to them for hours at an unbelievable billing rate that rivals my own. Well, maybe not. And you know, and I mean it respectfully, but we've somehow allowed ourselves to get sucked into this web of spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour in employee time on stuff that really should be delegated to other people. So don't expect to be able to talk to the city manager. Don't expect to be able to talk to the city attorney. The people they delegate that to will make the decision as to whether or not that call should reach that level. As to the council members, we occupy a different position, and it's up to each individual council member as to how they want to use their time in dealing with constituents. And obviously, I think that we should spend as much time as possible and give as much time as possible to constituents. But it's a mistake to confuse city staff with elected officials. The obligations are different, and we're just going to be much more cognizant of how they're using their time. If it's not moving the ball forward, meaning if it's not moving the city forward in the direction that we have set for them, I don't want them wasting 1 second on it. It's too important what they're doing. So don't be offended if somebody else returns your call. They are operating under our instructions to do precisely that, okay? Understandable? And, you know, if you disagree with that, then you should disagree with me, not Mr. Bozigian, or not the city attorney, okay? Thank you. I think that's it for speaker cards. Did I get everybody? You are tardy.
Yeah, well, I've been through a lot.
Okay.
Okay. I was listening to the man talk about, you know, the all these vacant homes. I myself have been through a lot. I've just lost my home, so I'm homeless as well now. And it's not just about that. It's about the events that have taken place and what's been going on as to how that's happened. And, you know, I come here and try and address some of these issues that have been going on. And same thing, you know, you call, try and talk to people, nobody listens to any of it. It's like, it, you know, doesn't matter. I was in the process of going to court on what was going on at my home. Like I said, I was having a lot of problems with it after I put a lot of money into the, you know, down into the home. We were sick. Things were coming out of our vent, making us sick. Our gas and electric bills were crazy high, $500-600 just for electric. Gas was like $300 a month. It's not only that, it was things that nothing was being done to fix these problems. It was just an ongoing thing of, and if I'd call and say anything about certain things, it seemed like we were in trouble for these things. You know, even the law enforcement, you know, I'd call at certain times, you know, there was ones that came that, you know, tried to help the situation, and then there was times that they weren't. This was a process of how I had lost my home, and believe me, there's people that, you know, they say are squatters in homes, and sometimes people just don't have any place to go, you know, because I'm sure that's basically what I was being called. My home, I wasn't, like I said, I was in the process of this lawsuit, or going to court. I was pulled over. I was trying to move some things from my house. I was pulled over, got a ticket for a supposed parking ticket where they impounded my truck, which left me no way to get around and do anything. After that, my phone was taken. I was posting things and for people to come, see the things that I had. And after posting certain things, I got a text saying, we've been reading your posts, and, that's not going to go. And I had all my information, a lot of my information on my phone, pictures and information about things that were going on. So they took my phone, which now I was not able, I had no contacts. I wasn't able to, show any or use any of these pictures and things, and information I had on there on my notepads and stuff. So while I was in my house and I thought that I had, I was allowed to be there in my home because it was a stay thing. I was on an appeal. They came in one day and just told me I had to be outside. The same police officer showed up that had impounded my truck. And as soon as I sat down, I said I had to go in and get all my, not even allowed to take anything but the clothes I had and leave my home, which I know this has happened to a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I never get to,
It's 3 minutes. I'm sorry. That's
Well,
the
I
rules.
come to you guys and I, tell you all these things that are going on all the time, and these are serious issues that happen.
Okay, let me talk for a second, okay? Can I have 30 seconds? I think she's right. I'm getting a lot of these calls where the storage centers and people in the eviction process are violating the law as to how they handle the personal property. We have laws about it. There's very strict requirements as to how you take people's personal property, whether they paid their rent or not. But there's also an enforcement problem as to how we deal with that. I'd like to develop a PAGA situation where the city becomes as a private attorney general concept is what the state uses, where the city becomes a reporting agency to local private attorneys. Obviously not my office, but and maybe we have a training program to train the lawyers what to do. But this is intolerable. It really is intolerable for these storage centers to take people's property and sell it illegally. They don't get to do that. I would like us to clean up a lot of that if we can. So, Allison, if you would work with me and perhaps the neighborhood revitalization as to how do we enforce these laws. Now, I'm not saying that we do it the other way and let people from a tenant position violate the law. I just want people following the law, all right? But I've gotten enough...
There's a lot of people that aren't following that.
Okay, but you got to follow the rules also, and the rules are 3 minutes. I'm sorry. Do you get the drift of what I want to do?
Yeah, I believe so, and I'll follow up with you and neighborhood revitalization.
Okay, great, thank you. Good, thank you.
Programs are the problem.
Maria, you actually accomplished something today. I know you don't realize that, but you have. All right. Now, what do you got? We will now recess to closed session to discuss the matters listed on the agenda as items numbers 1 through 10.
We don't need closed session tonight.
No.
Really? A present to you.
See what happens when you're a defender? Never mind.
Of the faith.
Good things happen. All right. With that being said, where's my thing? Okay. Turn it over to the Housing Authority.
What's the date we stand adjourned to?
July 8th.
We stand adjourned till July 8th at 5 o'clock.
Just so it can stop the Facebook postings, I will not be here at the next two meetings. I'll be in San Francisco representing the city on July 7th through 10th. And then I may be here the following meeting, but all of it will be city-related or office-related. Okay, the City Council will adjourn in memory of former Mayor Fred Hahn. Mr. Hahn served more than 10 years on the Lancaster City Council, was a firefighter and a paramedic for many years. As a member of the City Council, he supported the construction of the Lancaster Performing Arts Center and Lancaster City Park. He will be missed by family, friends, and this community. Fred Hahn was one of those people who really did love this city, and everything he did was for the well-being of the city. I never once saw him do anything for his own self-interest. He will be sorely missed by this community. He was an example for all of us to follow. The City Council meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, July 8th, 2014, at 5 p.m. Carol, Carol's not home. I got no one to come home to. Let's adjourn.
Another way of saying some of these same things. Because sameness is not the goal.
Right. Let me add to that too. That's one of the reasons that we're looking towards the form-based approach within these codes, as opposed to the standard conventional zoning where you simply establish setbacks and then as long as you're within